This week on Chapman News. The class of 2019. Commencement ceremonies are next weekend. How and where this senior class will leave their legacy next. And in with the new, a fresh round of admissions breaks records. The biggest freshman class Chapman has ever seen. That and more coming up. From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon. I'm Mallory Sullivan.
And I'm Alexis Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's our final show of the semester. Can you believe it?
Honestly, I can't. It went by so fast, but let's take a look at the legacy the class of 2019 they're leaving behind. With graduation just a week away, we sat down with 7 graduating seniors to hear the impact and lessons learned from their 4 years here at Chapman.
I don't want these to be the best 4 years of my life, if that makes sense. I want my life to only get better. So we'll see what happens.
So the past 4 years, I would say, have definitely been the best 4 years of our life. We've met our best friends here at Chapman.
Moving away is going to be hard for that sense. Oh my God, I'm crying. Tears! Get the emotion in there. We're very emotional people, so like, oh.
The past 4 years means a lot because it's kind of shaped me and allowed me to have that confidence of like, this is who I am.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that you're going to hear no so many times, and that's normal. And it's really important to just keep pushing through. And if you're passionate about something, then it eventually will happen.
The biggest thing I've learned is to make sure you're happy and you're making other people happy. That's all it is. Like, nothing else matters as long as you and the people around you are happy. So far, like, I haven't cried yet about leaving, but I know it'll probably hit me that weekend that, like, this is it.
I don't know, I'm gonna miss being here a lot. And I wish I could just stay here for another 4 years.
Okay. First few days of school, I walked past the Starbucks patio and I saw people sitting out there and like waving to people. Everybody seemed to know everybody, and I was walking around like, am I ever gonna walk past here and like have somebody call my name or like wave to me or something? I was like, I don't feel like I'm ever gonna reach that like spot of being so comfortable. And now it's like, 3 people walked by and I like waved to them, and it's just like, it's cute.
Thank you to our parents.
Yeah.
And
Our pals.
Our pals for making it what it is.
Yeah.
We love you, Chapman.
We wish all our fellow seniors the best of luck in their endeavors post-graduation.
About to graduate and still not sure where to head next, the 15 best big cities for U.S. college graduates factor the average median income, commute time to work, and crime rate this year. The number 1 spot went to Austin, Texas, followed by San Francisco at number 2 and Houston at number 3. San Diego was number 8 and Los Angeles number 11, but nowhere in the OC made the list. New York City came in just after LA at 13.
Chapman is a small university in a small city, but its applicant pool this year was one of its largest ever. Olivia Young has our story.
Chapman saw its largest ever application pool this year, 14,250 students. Chapman's applications and acceptances continue to rise, but the Orange neighborhood has sometimes pushed back on its growth.
We feel like we're pretty close to a really good size of the freshman class now. We're having this planned decrease in growth, so we're sitting around this high 1,600 range. And so I think that continues to be our goal.
The school has sometimes drawn criticism for its diversity. Its overall Black student population sits at around 1.5%. Next year's class will be 2.5% Black. Recently, students protested a controversial poster hanging at the university for a 1915 Civil War movie that depicted blackface, but Price thinks the controversy may have had a positive impact.
I think that if you're a student of color, in this case African American, and you're looking at a predominantly white school like Chapman, you're thinking about what that experience is going to be like. And so when you see an incident like this, that has to be something you factor in.
I don't think it's diverse enough, but I think it's getting there, and I think with conscious effort it can get there, but I think it needs to be more diverse.
Another concern some have with Chapman's increasing application size, housing. With a new 2-year campus living requirement, the university is branching out by building new dorms.
I think for housing, we're going to be okay when it comes to the size of the class. We have built into our freshman housing model some flexibility. If it's in the realm of the normal acceptance rate, then I think that we're going to have the housing covered fine.
I love how the school is just growing in general and how more people are knowing about it.
Every year we get more and more outstanding students interested in us, which is something that's really positive, and it gives us great choices to make during the admission process.
For Chapman News, I'm Olivia Young.
The university hasn't released how many students have been accepted into enrollment yet, but promised a smaller freshman class this year.
More information out of Washington on the Mueller report. The House Judiciary Committee voted Wednesday to hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt due to the Justice Department's refusal to comply with a subpoena for Robert Mueller's unredacted report. The vote passed in a Democratic majority committee amidst increasing political tensions. Shortly before the vote, President Trump invoked the principle of executive privilege for the first time ever in blocking lawmakers from Mueller's full report on the Russian interference in the 2016 election.
This is unprecedented. If allowed to go unchecked, this obstruction means the end of congressional oversight. As a co-equal branch of government, we should not and cannot allow this to continue.
The U.S. Secretary of State is making a statement to foreign officials this week. Mike Pompeo canceled his trip to Berlin to make a secret visit with Iraqi leaders in Baghdad. He took a 4-hour pit stop to talk about American safety in Iraq, Iran's forces, and Iraq's dependency on Iran for power supplies.
More than 1,000 firearms were found during a raid of a house in Brentwood. Gerard Sainez was arrested on suspicion of illegally manufacturing and selling guns. Authorities searched his home and found weapons all around the property. It included assault weapons, rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Agents also seized thousands of rounds of ammunition. Sainez posted $50,000 bail Thursday and is now out of jail.
STEM school Highlands Ranch was rocked by a tragedy on Tuesday. That was when a student sacrificed his life to save his peers. Investigators say the suspects stole the guns from one of their parents, and the 2 suspects will appear in court later today. 8 students were injured, and 1 student, Kendrick Castillo, sacrificed his own life. Castillo rushed the gunman as soon as he entered the classroom. Castillo was tragically shot and died there at the scene. Fellow student Brendan Bialy remembers the fallen hero.
Kendrick Castillo died a legend. He died a trooper. He got his ticket to Valhalla, and I know he will be with me for the rest of my life.
Bialy also played an important role in helping limit the damage. He, along with 2 others, successfully tackled and disarmed one of the shooters. Castillo was just 1 day away from graduation.
We have Natalie Rawson joining us to give us a glimpse into this week's weather report.
And before we jump into that 5-day forecast, we do have some exclusive footage from the cyclone damage in India.
And Gianna joins us here with our entertainment report. What do we have?
The coffee cup that broke the internet and the over-the-top outfits from the Met Gala.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, how are you today? Good. I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I groomed the Halo world to life. Is that you? That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things. I want your job. I want you to have my job.
A project to upgrade John Wayne Airport, housing its corporate and private jets, has tempers rising. Orange County residents are worried about an increase in noise and pollution created by the planes at the airport. The proposed expansion of facilities is for small private planes and corporate jets. Unlike commercial planes at the airport, private aircrafts can fly at all hours of the day and night. The supervisors have tabled this discussion. They'll revisit it in a couple of weeks. So climate change is a growing concern to people all over the world.
28 countries have now deemed global warming as the top international priority, according to a report released by the Council of Councils. Here's how you can help curb climate change.
A new United Nations assessment reports that climate change poses a dire threat to Earth's ecosystems and has put 1 million plant and animal species at risk of extinction. Scientists say that global temperatures will worsen due to increased emissions of greenhouse gases through transportation, industrial and residential usage, agriculture, and livestock farming. But it may not be too late to limit some of the effects of climate change. I visited Bring Your Own Long Beach, the first and only permanent zero-waste store in all of Orange and LA counties. Here's what I learned.
It's a refill store that has refills on shampoo, conditioner, laundry detergent, toothpaste, and a lot of other household goods. As you run out of things in your home, you can replace them with a less wasteful option. So for example, if you run out of shampoo, you could either try using a shampoo bar or you can just try refilling your shampoo. Other ways to do it without buying anything different or new is to just search for food, find its counterpart that's not covered in packaging. So bringing your own utensils and bringing a cup or even a container if you have one. Being prepared and having replacements for things that would otherwise be trash afterwards. Every person doing little things add up to a lot. It helps you be more in tune with what you're using and what you don't need in your life too.
People can lead a more sustainable lifestyle by walking or using public transportation. Unplugging appliances when not in use will also save both energy and money. Reducing use of plastic by carrying reusable water bottles, straws, and cutlery has also become a recent trend, even for businesses here in Orange.
Places like Earth Cafe here in the Orange Circle offer 50 cents off every drink you order through a reusable cup, a step forward for sustainability.
The Mission Environmental Club at Chapman has begun a petition to install solar panels in Chapman structures.
The threats of climate change are very pressing, and it's very relevant to our lives. It's going to be impacting our lives specifically, not so much the older generations. So these changes need to be happening in real time. We need to start taking the initiative. So there's no more perfect time than now to be investing in renewable energy and to be investing in solar specifically.
Ultimately, being zero waste is not about being perfect or having an empty trash can, but lowering your environmental impact overall.
Joining us now is Dr. Carter Berry, an ecologist and fellow here at Chapman University. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So the UN report came as a shock to many, predicting dire consequences for animals. What was your reaction?
Well, my first reaction was the numbers are sobering, right? In reality, we're going to lose a lot of species in our lifetime. But I think the other side of the report is that we need to take action now, and the report is hopeful that if we do that and we have transformational change from local to international scales, that we can affect change and reduce the loss of diversity globally.
Mm-hmm. So the report says that human activity is what's threatening millions of plants and animal species. Just the first time in history that this has happened. Why do you think that is?
Well, there's a couple reasons as to why this is happening. I mean, most directly, it's due to the sheer fact that we're putting billions and billions of people on an Earth that never had billions of people, right? But what we're doing is we're ultimately transforming landscapes. We're changing natural areas and we're making them into agriculture, for example, right? We're also changing ecosystems by introducing invasive species. We're changing ecosystems by altering the quality of the habitat, for example, by pulling out key resources, introducing pollution, for example, as well. So all of these things are results of us approaching the Earth in sort of an unsustainable way, right? Not thinking sort of long-term into the future about the effects that we're doing in any immediate moment. So those are sort of the most direct reasons that the report lays out as to why this is happening.
So what would happen to our planet if these species were in fact eradicated?
Sure. So there's lots of things that are already happening and things that will continue to happen. So, for example, the report highlights an example where we're expected to lose over $500 billion worth of crop production due to the loss of bees, for example. Bees pollinate plants, and without that pollination, we don't make an ear of corn, for example, right? And so ultimately, step one is we're going to have changes to how sustainable and how our economic markets work as a result of loss in food production. But on top of that, there's other bigger things. Over 50,000 plant species, for example, are used in medicines every year. If we lose even 1/10 of those, we're losing key ingredients that go into the medicine that keep people alive. So ultimately, these effects, these are things that we can predict, right? These are things we already know about and are outlined in the report, but ultimately these are things we didn't know about 40 years ago. So 40 years from now, it's hard for us to even predict every single example of how this is going to affect the livelihoods of people, right?
Right. So on a local level, are there any things that people can do to be more sustainable just in their own community?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are two sort of key ways that we affect this, right? One is just changing ecosystems, and two is through climate change. So by reducing your carbon footprint tomorrow is something that you can do to start, right? So if you take one less flight a year, depending on how frequently you travel, you can reduce your entire carbon footprint by 20%. If you just carpool every day, for example, you can reduce your carbon footprint by 10%, right? These are numbers that you can do tomorrow. So things like that reduce carbon, meaning use of large machinery, largely planes and cars is one example. But on top of that, you affect change as well through voting, right? We all know that certain politicians, for example, have certain views on climate policy, and voting for individuals and choosing people who have vision for how to think sustainably about the earth as a whole are the people we want to vote for. And maybe lastly, maybe you become that change, right? You become the person who runs for office who says, I want to be the vision for that change. So these are all things that you can do as individuals at a local level that affect change related to biodiversity and climate.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Did you know most grocery store food travels at least 3,000 miles before getting to the store? Well, not the food at the farmer's market. Reporter Gianna Gravelisi has the story on the weekly market here in Old Town Orange.
The Orange Homegrown Farmers Market is celebrating its 10-year anniversary this Saturday.
It is a community effort, and we love having the community and all of our surrounding neighbors join us.
Orange Homegrown is a nonprofit organization that runs the market, where every Saturday, different farmers and food vendors offer locally grown fruits, vegetables, baked goods, and more.
I think we're unique in that we couldn't have gotten where we are without the input and community backing us, and that's everyone from our city hall to Chapman University.
I've been coming to the farmers market every week since I was like a freshman here at Chapman, and I just love it. I love the environment and like seeing all the vendors and getting the samples.
Shopping at the farmers market not only supports locally based companies, but also supports urban agriculture, since foods that are sold at the market are grown in ways that don't have a negative impact on the environment.
Please come tomorrow and celebrate 10 years with us.
You can come to the farmers market every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm Gianna Gravelisi from Orange, California, Chapman News.
Shopping at the farmers market is a great way to support local businesses, and it's an easy way to reduce your carbon footprint.
All it takes is a single day for sunscreen to enter the human bloodstream. Within 24 hours, our skin soaks in chemicals at levels high enough to trigger government safety investigations. The FDA lists sunscreen's 4 main chemicals as still needing to be researched by manufacturers before they can be considered safe and effective. Although it poses possible health risks, experts urge people to continue to be aggressive about sun protection.
Communities in India and Bangladesh are still in shock after a monster cyclone swept through a week ago. The cyclone killed at least 34 people in India and 15 in Bangladesh. We have Natalie Rawson here to tell us a little more. Natalie.
Well, not only was this cyclone classified as extremely severe, it was also extremely rare. It's one of only 3 cyclones to hit Odisha in 150 years. We have some exclusive footage from Indian residents, courtesy of our own Chapman reporter, Satvi Sankura. Take a look.
লাফালাফি করবি না আবার পড়ে
Thankfully, casualties in South Asia were fewer than those caused by previous similar cyclones. After greatly improved disaster readiness, more than 1 million people were evacuated from India's Odisha state, as well as 1.6 million from Bangladesh. Power and telecom services are now being restored, but at a slow pace, and bake services did partially resume in Odisha yesterday. Now, taking a look at our more local weather here in Orange, we have 65 degrees and cloudy. It's not going to be a super sunny weekend, I will say. Moving into the rest of Orange County, similar temperatures. We have 60, mid to high 60s here. Up in Westminster, we're hitting 70, but Irvine, Newport Beach, 68 degrees, 69 down at Laguna, 66 over in Mission Viejo, and even a little bit colder down in San Clemente at 65. For the rest of Southern California, again, fairly similar temperatures. We have 65 up in Santa Barbara, 70 over in Anaheim, cooler over in Big Bear at 49, and a bit warmer as usual in Palm Springs at 81 degrees. Down in San Diego, we're seeing something similar at 68. For our 5-day forecast, like I said, it's not going to be a super sunny weekend, unfortunately. We do have a chance of rain. We're looking at 40% chance of precipitation Friday through Saturday. Again, a high of 69 today and a low of 59. It'll get a bit warmer tomorrow, maybe hitting 75 degrees, but there is a potential for thunderstorms, so keep an eye out for that. Thankfully, by Mother's Day, though, the sun will make a comeback. We'll see 75 degrees as our high, a low of 59, and then even more sunshine moving into the week, hitting 78 by Tuesday. That's your 5-day forecast. I'm Natalie Rawson. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Natalie. So hackers stole more than $40 million worth of Bitcoin from Binance. That's a major cryptocurrency exchange company. They discovered a large-scale security breach Tuesday, saying they stole 7,000 Bitcoins in one transaction. A single Bitcoin trades at nearly $6,000. The transaction passed Binance's security checks, but after the hack, the withdrawal triggered various alarms in the system, stopping all withdrawals immediately after. The stolen Bitcoin will be reimbursed, but some users may still be at risk. Binance is conducting a security review of the incident this week.
Look out for a change in the way you travel. Google just announced that they will be adding an incognito option to their Maps application, another effort from Google to push for more privacy, following a new feature that regularly deletes location history and other activity data automatically. If toggled on, users can search and navigate without Google saving the activity to their account.
Bud Light is here to be a supportive ally for Pride Month in June. Bud Light will be selling rainbow bottles in support of Pride Month and the LGBTQ community. The bottles will be available for purchase at any bar from May 27th to June 30th. $1 from every purchase will go to GLAAD, an LGBTQ advocate organization, up to $150,000. GLAAD has been supporting LGBTQ rights and HIV awareness for over 40 years.
So it's Mother's Day this weekend.
It is, yes. I can't wait to celebrate my wonderful mom. What about you?
I'm sure both of our moms are watching right now, digging through their purse because they're so nervous. And I haven't figured out where to take my mom, but someone else has for me. Some great places to take your mom this Mother's Day weekend. Open Table has released the 100 best brunch locations for Mother's Day this year. 4 of the 100 restaurants are right here in our Orange County backyard. Duke's Huntington Beach, Maggiano's South Coast Plaza, and Beachcomber Cafe in Crystal Cove. All of these choices sound amazing, honestly.
Yeah, I can't wait to take my mom to one of those places.
Don't go anywhere. I'll give you the latest in entertainment when we come back.
And a controversial finish at the Kentucky Derby. I'll tell you why on the Best Campus Sports Show.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
royal baby has finally arrived. His name announced to the world as Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor.
Try to say that 3 times fast.
Right?
Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle gave birth to their bundle of joy on Monday. The baby boy is 8th in line to the British crown.
It's magic. It's pretty amazing, and I mean, I have the 2 best guys in the world, so I'm really happy.
Baby Archie is so adorable. I was so glad they put that video out for the world. That was so cute.
We now have Gianna Gravelisi here with the royal news. Gianna?
I have tea, royal tea that is. Hey guys, it's Gianna here to bring you the hottest tea in entertainment for the last time this semester. The baby's last name, Mountbatten Windsor, was actually inspired by a choice that Queen Elizabeth and Philip made in 1960 when they created their own surname to distinguish their direct descendants from the rest of the royal family. Baby Archie is the 8th great-grandchild of Queen Elizabeth II. Celebrities looked royal themselves on Monday night at this year's Met Gala, where they embodied the theme camp. But what exactly is camp?
Camp is the art of being extra. That's what the kids call it today.
And celebrities did just that, including Lady Gaga, who wore 4 different outfits within her 13-minute entrance on the red carpet. One of her dresses had a 25-foot train, and another look had $1.7 million worth of Tiffany diamonds. There was also Katy Perry, who wore a 40-pound chandelier dress before changing into a bedazzled burger for the after party. This wasn't the only wacky look either. Jared Leto carried a wax figure of his own head around, and Zendaya wore a real-life Cinderella dress. Of course, Kim Kardashian wore a corseted French gown that shrunk her waist down to what my waist would look like if I stopped eating cookies. But when she's not dressed in taille mugler, she's freeing inmates.
But if you think about a decision that you've made in your life and you get life without the possibility of parole for your first time nonviolent offense, there's just something so wrong with that.
The reality star is funding the Buried Alive project, covering legal fees that allow spokespeople to travel the country and visit courtrooms to push for decarceration. On top of that, she's aiding the relocating of released inmates so that they can be with their families. Kardashian West has already helped to release 17 prison inmates and is now a mother of 4 after her surrogate went into labor last night with her new baby boy. Something else that was released was new Disney content. On Tuesday, Disney released its upcoming film schedule from now until December 2027. Some titles were nameless, while others were familiar, including several new Avatar, Star Wars, and Marvel films. One of those Marvel films will include their first openly gay character. Endgame co-director Joe Russo revealed in an interview that fans will find out which already existing Marvel character will be coming out very soon. Fans of Game of Thrones found out HBO made a little mistake last week when they spotted something unusual in the Westeros world. A Starbucks cup was accidentally left on a table in the latest episode of HBO was quick to act after fans blew up the internet, removing the cup from the episode on streaming services. Then they lightheartedly joked that Daenerys ordered an herbal tea. Now we're going to talk about it. What? It? You know, It. Yesterday, the trailer for It Chapter 2 premiered. The sequel is set 27 years following the first film and features actors like Bill Hader, Jessica Chastain, and James McAvoy, playing the adult versions of The Losers Club. It will hit theaters September 8th. I might have a heart attack. Not over that, but because this morning Justin Bieber dropped I Don't Care, his first single since last year featuring Ed Sheeran. Contrary to his Instagram post a few weeks ago, saying he wasn't releasing any more new music, Bieber has become the first musician to see half a dozen of his songs hit 1 billion streams on Spotify. And that's the tea. All the tea for the semester. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gianna.
A student-run magazine just released their spring issue featuring variety art, photography, and written work by Chapman students. Natalie Rawson has the story.
This is called Santa Ana Wind Event or Canyon Fire 2. I don't know how to say I miss you, he says, without being too much.
Calliope, the student-run literary and art magazine, launched their spring 2019 issue this week. And on Wednesday evening, a launch party was held at Contra Coffee to celebrate the staff, writers, and artists who made this issue possible.
I would say Calliope's mission statement is to provide like a platform to showcase student art and writing.
The party was filled with members of the Chapman community and featured a program of readings by Calliope writers.
Specifically, it's a place where we want students to feel very comfortable showcasing their work and doing the very vulnerable thing that is creating something and then showing it to another person.
The evening ended with an ode to Avery Silverberg, the outgoing editor-in-chief, who will be graduating next weekend.
I've taken away how to be a team player and a team leader, how to really take so many pieces in front of me and narrow them down.
Silverberg hopes to pursue publishing in the future and credits much of the skills she's learned to her time at Calliope.
I've sat in meetings throughout my whole college experience and come home from meetings and said, I want to do this the rest of my life.
As Silverberg moves on to the next chapter of her life, the magazine will certainly be in good hands. Current managing editor Grace Zerner will become the next editor-in-chief in the fall.
I don't know, I love Calliope. It's just my favorite thing I do on campus. It's so much fun to be a part of it, and I'm just really honored to be stepping into a leadership role.
Reporting for Chapman News, I'm Natalie Rawson.
To learn more about Calliope, follow their Instagram at Chapman Calliope or check out their website at chapmancalliope@wordpress.com.
Now we have Brad Benson joining us for the latest in sports.
Yeah, Chapman's baseball team is having a historic season. We'll tell you why after the break.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brad Benson, and welcome to the final edition of the Best Campus Sports Show for this semester. Instant replay in sports provides the opportunity for fans and officials to get a second look at a play from a different angle or in slow motion. You can see if a player stepped out of bounds, completed the process of a catch, or got a shot off in time. Replay has been subject to a lot of controversy over the years, and you can just ask New Orleans Saints fans. But replay has never completely changed the outcome of a sporting event until last weekend, when the most exciting 2 minutes in sports turned into the most exciting 15 minutes in sports. In the Kentucky Derby, Maximum Security was by far the best horse in the race. You can see him leading in the pink jockey. But going around the final turn into the stretch, the horse drifted lanes, obstructing War of Will, a horse that didn't even finish in the top 3. After 15 minutes of replay, Maximum Security was disqualified from the race and Country House was declared the winner. Here's what Maximum Security's jockey Luis Saez had to say about what happened.
Always, when we just came over there to the stretch, he started getting a little bit scared for this. A lot of people screaming.
So the crowd noise seemed to bother him or distract him a bit?
A little bit, yes, because he's a baby, he just learning. But then I grab and I control him and I keep fighting because I know he's a real fighter, and thank God he did it.
After Maximum Security's disqualification, bettors lost around $9 million. The horse will not race in the upcoming Preakness, and this is the first time in the 145-year history of the Derby that the winner got disqualified. This week is also the first time that Chapman will host the conference baseball tournament. For more on that, we have Jared Brosnan live at Hart Park. What's going on, Jared?
Yes, Brad, the Panthers are here. They're getting ready for the SCIAC Conference Tournament. They are the defending champs, actually, so they get to be the host seed with a 19-5 conference record, the first place. They will be taking on Kalu later today. First pitch at 3 p.m. It was a little cloudy as we got here, but it seems to be okay right now. I'm excited for this weekend. Hart Park is going to be hosting for the semifinals and the finals on Sunday. Admission is free with your Chapman ID, so there's no reason not to come down. Brad, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jared. And if you are, for some reason, unable to go, you can catch the game on a live stream on ChapmanAthletics.com. Shohei Ohtani is back playing for the Angels after missing April due to his recovery for Tommy John surgery that he had back in October. The two-way star will not pitch this season, but he returned to the lineup on Tuesday as a designated hitter. He got the first hit of his season yesterday after going 2 games and 7 at-bats without a hit. Ohtani's teammate Albert Pujols achieved another milestone yesterday by hitting his 2,000th career RBI. He did it on a solo shot against the Detroit Tigers in the Angels' 13-0 win. Kevin Durant got injured earlier this week, and the Golden State Warriors are going to have to win their series against the Rockets if they want to see KD in the Bay for at least a little bit longer. In Game 5, KD went down in the third quarter in what was initially feared as a torn Achilles, but was later reported as a calf strain. He will miss tonight's game and will be reevaluated next week. The Warriors are no strangers to blowing a big lead, but FC Barcelona might have blown a bigger one. After winning 3-0 in the first leg of the Champions League semifinal, Barcelona blew one of the biggest leads in recent soccer memory. Liverpool came out striking in the second match and won 4-0, advancing to the Champions League final. Liverpool will take on fellow English Premier club Tottenham on June 1st in Madrid. This is just the second time that 2 English teams will meet in the final. The final highlight of the week from the semester comes from Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals between the Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets when Clint Capella turned a would-be poster by Andre Iguodala into a poster of his own. Take a look.
Both Paul and Harden have to drive. They're not coming to help.
Iguodala, what a block by Capella! A sensational defensive play, stopping what would have been a dunk by Iguodala. Andre Iguodala with his mind made up. Clint Capella says, not on my watch.
Well, that's it for this semester, but I'll be back next year to give you all the latest in the wide world of sports. And before I go, I just wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom, and I wanted to say thank you to all of our amazing seniors. All of us here at Chapman News are going to miss having you guys around, and we wish you the best in your careers going forward.
My favorite memories were just the times that we were all messing around here on set, either in rehearsals, and we laughed our butts off, or it was a great show and we were all just happy because we all put in the work together. So just making it the team effort and everyone just seeing what we get to do as students at Chapman was really cool.
I'm gonna miss the free coffee in the morning because every time I bring my own mug, I will refill it maybe like 17 times and I'll just drink it in the back corner for the entire period. So that definitely.
I think partly the Sodexo breakfast, because that's great, and partly all of you guys, because even though like I'm totally not doc or news or anything, it's still fun to come see you guys every week, and it's nice that you guys put up with me, and I'm gonna miss it a lot.
When we all come together like midweek when there's breaking news and just all the teamwork that goes into creating a really good package. I know that sometimes I'll have an idea but I don't have the time to carry it through, and everyone's always been really good about helping to pick up the slack to make the show good at the end of the week.
I mean, most people are like afraid to graduate, but I mean like we all don't really know like what we're gonna do with our lives. And I think that is kind of exciting in itself, just like not knowing where I'm gonna go, but knowing that at the end of the day I'll be fine and everything will work out, and that's kind of exciting in itself. It's just like figuring out my life a little bit. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, being one of the executive producers was kind of a dream of mine. I never thought I'd get to be able to do that, and so when Brett asked me to be an EP, I was super stoked to do it, and I got to do it with 2 of the best people ever who I call my best friends now, honestly. Being a producer is my dream, so I got to kind of live out my first dream as my first real job through Chapman News.
Objective fact, this is my favorite class ever. Objective fact. Coming in and like everyone's laughing and smiling, like that's my favorite part. I'm excited to get to work, and I have a bright future ahead of me, but it's sad to go.
Okay, well that was a little emotional, but thank you so much for joining us now and every single week. It means so much that you've all tuned in and watched us to kind of fulfill our dreams. I speak for all of us. I think that this is really just helping us put us to the next step, and we couldn't be more prepared for the real world.
I can't even talk without crying, so I'm gonna spare everybody. Do not miss an episode of Chapman News. Don't you dare. Follow our YouTube channel at chapmannews.tv and social media accounts at Chapman News.
I'm Alexis Rodriguez.
And I'm Mallory Sullivan. Have a fantastic summer, but don't worry, Chapman News will be back this fall, but not with these friends.
Have a wonderful break.
We're so